This tutorial is powered by AskQuesty.com. Get help with your website on demand. And don't forget, subscribe for more tutorials.
So, how much does it cost to build a WordPress website? Well, the short answer is it depends. How much do you want it to cost to build a WordPress website? So, let's look. So, there's two different WordPresses. Okay, so there's WordPress.org. This is the WordPress platform itself. It's open source and it is free. All you need to use WordPress is to have a web host, as well as a domain name. So let's draw it out. Okay, so to host a website, you have a domain name, you have a web host, and you have WordPress. Okay, so the domain name would be the URL to your website. So if you are Google, then it would be www.google.com, for example, right? Web host will be the container or the server, like the website that the website provider, the host provider that hosts your website. So it's basically the service that provides servers that host your service. So think of this like the container. Okay, and WordPress is what you fill the container with. Okay, so this WordPress itself is free. Okay, WordPress is free. So you worry about the domain name and the web host. Now the domain name, you can go to something like GoDaddy.com, or you can search GoDaddy.com as well as domain name providers, right? A few ones that I know is like Namecheap and domain.com. Okay, Namecheap, domain.com, GoDaddy. You can also search the best domain registrars. This is where you can get your domain name. Okay, and this is really independent of WordPress. You really, it's just a name. Whatever name you pick has nothing to do with which WordPress you use, or whether or not you use WordPress. Okay, so we have that done. Okay, so for a web host is really where the expenses come. Okay, so this one is going to cost dollars. Okay, and then the web host is also going to cost dollars, and WordPress is going to be free. So WordPress is free, so that's good. So if this is if web host is a container, this WordPress is the lining inside the container. All right, it is what is held inside the container. Think of it like that. Okay, so the web host. So you can also go on Google or DuckDuckGo or your search engine and search web hosts. Now, some web hosts are more expensive. GoDaddy is a web host as well as a domain name server. A lot of websites you'll find are both web hosts and domain name hosts, right? So there's multiple of these. Another one that I know of is called RapidGator. It's a web host. So and you can go inside and search for the plans and how much they cost. Okay, and so there's another point of confusion is there's two websites. Okay, there's WordPress.org, which is the WordPress software itself, and then there's also WordPress.com. WordPress.com is pretty much the same as like GoDaddy, RapidGator, and those other web hosts, right? It's the container. WordPress is a software. WordPress.org is the software. WordPress.com is a website that helps you host WordPress, right? And has plans and pricing. And from what I know, if you select the free version, then your website name has to start with it will be like your name.wordpress.com. If you do something free, right? It'll be something here .wordpress.com. In general, you don't want to select the free version because even though it's free, it doesn't look good for branding if you have like your name or your brand.wordpress.com, because it looks more professional if you take away the wordpress.com. Okay, so that's why it's good to have your own domain name. Okay, I can show you how much it costs me for WordPress. So right now, I'm using the host called ipxcore.com, and for ipxcore.com, it is the web host, and it cost me $1 a month. So if you search the pricing, it costs $1 monthly. It's one of the cheapest WordPress hosts. So if you really want to bring down the pricing, you can use something like this. This is something on the low end, or you can do something like just for example, GoDaddy. You don't have to use this web host. If you look at the hosting pricing, web host. Wait, actually, you want to look at hosting. So where's this? Hosting, and then WordPress solutions, WordPress hosting, and you can look at this, and it'll cost you something like $7 a month. So if you look at different websites for hosting, you'll see that it costs different amounts. But for what I know so far, IPX Core is probably the cheapest for web hosting. Okay, hope that answered your question on how much it costs to build a WordPress website. Oh yeah, in addition to that, for setting up the WordPress, it's really quite simple. You can just do a one-click install for most of the installing WordPress. Or if you're not sure how much it costs to install WordPress, if you hire someone to install WordPress for you, that will cost a little more. If you install WordPress yourself, it'll be cheaper, but it'll take a little bit of your time, probably around like a few hours. So it's up to you on how much the cost is. So anyway, I hope that helped.
Thanks for watching. If this was helpful, please subscribe. And if you need extra help, visit AskQuesty.com and send us your questions.